Oh shit! That reminds me, John. What
Yes,
did you
go
think
ahead,
about
start
that
it.
video? Yeah, what did you think about that video I shared with you?
Are you talking to me?
Which one?
Brother John. I think I shared it with
Oh,
you too. I'm not sure.
oh,
Was it the one with the ape, right? Starting a
Yeah,
fire?
yeah, the bonobo.
The bonobo. Yes, that was pretty wild. Yes. Did you see my comment? You saw my
I did.
comment. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Now, at first, I thought he was actually going to like rub two sticks together and start a fire. Now that would have been that would have been impressive.
No shit. I have to share
But yeah,
that because I don't know if you watched the other video that I linked up just in that in the message I sent out with that, but it showed him like going out with his owner and like he was using a lighter and like building the fire and everything, and even like puts it out when they're done.
well, can you put the link up? I don't think I got it.
Yeah, sure, I can do that.
yeah. Show the link. Viewers not going to see the link, but it is a video of what do you call them? A
Oh, bonobo.
bonobo.
Yeah, it's a
They're
type of or a monkey, whatever.
yeah, they're basically a chimpanzee. They're just as related to us as chimps are.
Except they don't have that violence gene for some reason. Chimpanzees actually wage tribal war on each other, and bonobos don't have a violent society.
You definitely look a lot bigger than a chimpanzee, like almost like an ape.
Chimpanzees are apes.
Well, I mean, like okay, a gorilla, should I say?
Here we go into the technical shit. Here we go.
I
I'm gonna
know.
fuck each other over.
Gorilla, is that proper? Look more like a gorilla. Gorillas are apes too.
Yes, they are.
Okay. He looked like a bigger ape. He didn't, like a chimpanzee. I think of little smaller, thinner. This bonobo was bigger, thicker, but it was an interesting video. Yeah, he starts he breaks up the branches and he lights a match to get the fire going, and he actually puts some marshmallows on a stick and starts eating roasted marshmallows. It was pretty wild. It's pretty wild.
Yeah, that's the first one I sent out. I can't find the second one for some reason.
Mm.
I'll be back just one sec.
Okay. I really wanted Michael in here. He said he was coming. Um, well, he shared a video. It was trying to remember. I just woke up from a little bit of it. I was just relaxing. So I don't know. The power of consciousness. How pretty much. I guess it's based kind of like on law of attraction, creating your own reality with your mind, that kind of thing. I'm sure you guys have heard stuff like that along that line. Um, and I'll tell you the truth, I've tried experimenting with some of this stuff, and there's just no, for me, what I'm finding, and all the positive affirmations, I'm sure it does some kind of good. I don't know. But there seems to be a lack of consistency. And so any good thing, if I start, I mean, and I do for most part do positive affirmations every day, a little bit. But there's no way there's no way of testing this stuff. Any of you guys have experimented with this, tried this, go down go down that route?
Wait, what route? I missed it.
Well, like law of attraction, you know,
Oh,
power.
or The Secret?
I'm sorry.
The Secret?
Oh yeah, The Secret's just another, repackaging of something like from Napoleon Hill and stuff like that. Think to Grow Rich, that kind of philosophy.
I mean, I haven't specifically, but I mean, if you get a fair amount in psychology, you'll positive people have. I don't really know what I want to say. More of a chance to seize opportunities.
Okay. Now, are they the ones creating the opportunity with their positive thinking?
Nah.
Okay.
Well,
Are they just more apt to see the opportunity? Like if like when you buy a certain kind of car and then you see that kind of car all the time because it's kind of in your subconscious.
it's kind of like that. I mean, I shouldn't just say no because being positive and being nice will make people want to help you. So
Hmm.
there's that aspect, but there's no like mystical, like your mind's controlling the universe kind of setup.
Oh, yeah. If you're a positive person, you influence people positively, you're going to have a larger social circle. More people are going to want to have contact with you. It's going to be easier to get work, get promoted, etc., etc., etc.
So then in that way, aren't you kind of creating your reality then?
Well, kind of, but I
Creating.
mean, if you've ever like watched The Secret, like the documentary, like quote
Yeah.
unquote documentary that they did,
Hmm.
they don't portray it like that. They portray it as think positive, magic happens.
Yeah, that's woo-woo. But I agree with you, John, that yeah, we do create our own reality in the sense that, hey, I want a garden. I want to live in my garden. I want to be peaceful. I want to, take away the encumbrances from my life, pay down bills, do, things that I think will make me have a more positive outlook in life. So I do those things and I have a more positive outlook in life, but it doesn't have anything mystical or woo about it.
Hmm. Okay. I know some of them try to relate it to like vibrations and frequencies, that kind of thing. I guess that's where the woo woo you want to call it. Um,
It's
that
the same crap. It just keeps recycling under different names. Oh, the magic pyramid. Oh, the power of crystals. Oh, you gotta go outside barefoot, put your feet into the earth, and feel Gaia. And
Hey, I do that. I like that.
I'm just saying. There's the cosmic awareness cult. It even breaks down into some mainstream religions. I see this guy on Sundays that says, if you give to the ministry, you'll get back tenfold, as if throwing money at him is going to increase your personal wealth. We have a gullible gene within us that wants to buy into something, more so when we're desperate.
So
Yeah,
your seed.
yeah. This is gonna make me sound like a square, but that's what happens when Christianity meets Buddhism plus marijuana.
And crystal meth.
Now, crystal meth makes you violent.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is why partly I wanted Michael because I could relate to some of the stuff he's listening. Because um, there is like these people like I don't know if you remember Michael talking about this guy Bashir. He's a so-called channeler, and he's always got these kind of messages going on, these positive messages going on. And I listened to a couple of his things, and well, there was but more so this other person. Uh, her name is Esther, and she says she's channeling Abraham. Now, besides all the woo-woo stuff, right? This channeling stuff, which I just don't buy. I try to do pick out the positive stuff out of it. You know, it's like we were saying, you know, creating your own kind of circumstances, positive thinking and affirmations, and doing positive stuff to attract positive things in your life. You know, that kind of stuff. So, but to put it, I can't put no science to it. Can't prove it. Things I could say, maybe a coincidence. I don't know. I would really, so.
You know how like mainstream Christianity kind of allows for the weirdo fringe element to go on TV and have like faith healing and these big, theatrical performances and stuff. I mean, mainstream Christianity doesn't come out against it and say they're not Christians and blah, 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 and they need to stop doing that kind of crap on TV. I think the same way that it lends, uh, I can't even think of the word I need there, validity to that is the same way that, like we were mentioning before, positive people, positive things happen to them. I don't know if it's cosmic or woo-woo. I can't really base on that, but I think that it lends enough validity to people who might read more into it when they think of positive people they know that do well in life, and then read something that says, you need to channel, this and buy my book for this, and I can make you positive and you'll have a spiritual connection that'll bring you wealth.
Yeah.
And also, being positive like that isn't really something you can fake, which is another thing like The Secret tries to push off. They're just kind of like, oh, just pretend to be positive. Just do it.
Yeah, or like this, they'll say you have to put a feeling behind it. It's not even just the words; it's just the feeling puts the energy in motion, kind of as well. My wife, I would just like today. Yeah, it's funny because she knows I was getting on chat. She goes, "Make sure you're talking positive stuff. Bring positive stuff in." She's so positive; it's crazy sometimes, but it's a wonderful thing. And look at all the good in the world, and
There's nothing wrong with that.
nothing wrong with that at all. Hey Rob, what's up? Look what I got on for you. Here you go. I got my Two Wolves shirt on.
Yeah, balance,
How
mate.
you doing? How you doing today, Rob?
Beg your pardon, mate?
How you doing today?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. Got a bit of homework to do, so I won't hang around too long.
Okay. I
So
see
I'd
part of your
catch up.
bedroom. Oh, your screen's not covering up your bedroom totally there.
Oh, yeah, I'm a bit bedraggled, so I'll be in trouble with the good wife.
Hmm.
Um, hmm. Yeah, see that positive thing you're talking about. What that is it is very. And sorry, Sarah, was it Ceres or was it Grant who said it? You can't fake it because then it just doesn't work. And it makes sense. It's really quite simple. I mean, if you're wanting to, uh, service the herd if you want, or just look after your neighbour in a genuine way, it's always going to be well received. And it'll bring you a sense of well-being, and it has joy and all that impacted, and people will see that in you, and because people sort of long for that themselves, but they just can't work shit out, they can't get out of their own right way because of their ego, and they can't see that it's an immaturity factor. But sure enough, if you can just be that good wolf, things work out. They do. It's true. It's absolutely true. Cerebus, you know that.
Welcome, James.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Cerebus,
It's
you know that.
yeah, it takes labor.
Oh, of course it does. Yeah, that's true. It's not a walk in the park, and you've got to be authentic and genuine. And in your field, I'm assuming, I'm sort of trying to read between the lines, but I'm assuming you're a straight up and down dude who, you know, uh, and you would get respect for what you do, you know, in the field that you're in, and it would make you feel good, and people would, you know, it sort of generates its own positive outcomes.
Yeah.
Yep. Hmm?
Yeah, it's just I don't know. I always feel a little. I don't know. It feels weird when someone thanks me for it, even though I didn't do anything for them.
Yeah, but that's okay. That's the nature of the thing, because you know, you like the humble space, and you don't want to, you know, you're anti-pride and all the rest of it, and quite rightly so, because pride's a real trap. I knew a guy. Well, I actually worked for this dude, and he was he was a volunteer in the the emergency services, SES, and he used to come to work, and you know, he really put in, and he was sort of a leader of the group, but he used to come to work and make a point of letting everyone know what he'd been up to. And I sort of smelled a rat, you know, and sure enough, in time, you could see that it was about pride.
Yeah, so he was fishing for recognition. Hey, Prescott, right? He was fishing for recognition. Yeah.
Yeah, well, Cerebus, you'd know that, wouldn't you? There might be the odd one that you come across in your profession that's sort of a bit that way inclined, and it just doesn't work.
Oh, definitely. I don't know. I mean, probably actually about 1 in 4.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm. I don't think there's. I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with. And I think we all want to feel appreciated for a job well done, right? I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
But there is definitely with pride. I tell you what, mate, it can be damaging. This guy was an absolute nightmare. You know, I mean, on the surface,
Well,
he was.
Well, it seemed like you said, it seemed like he was fishing for it. That's a totally different thing. You know, like when
Yeah,
people have to like brag about what they do, that's a whole other level. You know, they're very narcissistic and stuff. You know, and yeah, feed my ego. But I'm saying like, you know, you do a job. You're not, you know, you don't go out there and say, hey, did you see the great job I did? You know, but you
yeah.
do the job, you do it well, and then you know the people come by and they'll say, oh, thank you so much, great job. You know, I mean, you know, I think we all need
I
that.
was just, I was just offering though for Cerebus, and he knows this. You know, the reason why he sort of doesn't seek out the extra attention, because he's genuine in what he does. And that goes back to the discussion on how important authenticity is in the whole mix.
Mm-hmm.
That's, you know, I'm just trying to make the point that it doesn't work unless you're real. All the woo-woo that you guys are talking about.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Because people could fake, you know. I mean, usually you could spot them a mile away when they're faking being nice and you know pleasant and.
Yeah. Yeah, and well, you know, in Jesus speak, that's blaspheming the Holy Spirit. That's what that actual term means, and it got caught up with the Romans in this Trinity bullshit. But you know, when you put on that sort of act, you're really not only doing a disservice to yourself, you're also, you know, messing with the minds of other folks, because you're sort of trying to present mixing pride with good deeds. And
Well,
it's
yeah, I
not.
mean, look, didn't Jesus, you know, when he was talking about the Pharisees and stuff about, hey, you know, you don't be like the Pharisees going out in the middle of the street and praying in public and everything, and
Yeah,
you know, pray in silence, pray in your closet, you know.
that's right. Yeah, exactly. And you know, when you get used to it, it's fine. You know, it works out well. You don't have to go out and show off and parade around. You just go about your business. And again, Cerebus, he'll attest to this. You know, it works out fine, doesn't it, mate?
Oh yeah, usually.
Yeah. Oh, you know, still got people to deal with and all the rest of it.
I want to say hello,
But
James and Prescott. How you guys doing?
Wonderful.
Oh, are you trying to make a point there?
Don't cry for me, I've got tinea.
I'm just doing so awesome.
All right, open up. Let's hear your woes.
How awesome I'm doing. I just got this great job opportunity.
It isn't selling Thorazine, is it?
What's that?
You like my speaking of drugs, do you like did you catch it?
Histamine or whatever it is.
The antihistamine. Exidol.
Oh my, that was hilarious. I cannot picture you in that frame, and listening to it, I just was like, wow, 180 degrees.
I'm telling you. Yeah, I did that in 2007.
Yeah, that really gives you some perspective, doesn't it? Like, you were semi-serious when you made that,
Mm-hmm.
and now it just comes off like a parody, now that you've changed your point of view.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, when I mean I put a lot of the videos in private now, of course. But I once in a while watch some of the videos when I first came on YouTube and me preaching and everything. I'm like, is that is that me? It's weird. It's totally weird.
That's good that you have that record, though, to go back and connect to see, how much people can change over time.
It's always about, Wayman said something, Wayman 29, if you know Wayman, because I know Wayman from back then, and he said something that always sticks with me. And I mean, he'll say, you know what? No, you should keep the videos up. This way, because like you said, you see that progression and everything. And so, like, even though I still but I private them because I guess part of me says, well, I don't want to feel kind of responsible if I'm actually encouraging a belief I don't believe anymore. So if I leave these videos public of me preaching Christianity, I don't want to. I feel like I'm, you know what I'm saying. I'm still endorsing the message.
If you're ever comfortable with it, do it. If not, don't.
I mean, there's some that I kept up. Like there are a couple of, even some Christian music I still liked. Just had a nice melody or something. I've kept those up. Some things, but not most of them are
You
private.
honestly think you're that influential?
Oh, my ego! I know. Oh my God.
No, you put that stuff up there. I mean, people that are looking, they're going to find that stuff. They're going to, like, if they scout around, they'll see where you're at now. But they might find the things that you say then. It might be an important step from where they're at. A lot of people have this idea. I won't say, because a lot of us do. We have crazy ideas. And, it's kind of like we think life is like looking across this lake and thinking to ourselves, like, we know that there are these stones. They're just below the surface. And if I should be able to plot my course from here. And you can't. You gotta step out on the first stone. This is probably a terrible analogy. I never was known for my analogies. Anyway, you step out on the first stone, and that's the only way you get to the next one. So, I mean, you just might be the next step in that person's journey, and you should just be fine with being a part of that. End of diatribe.
Well,
That was eloquent.
yeah, but you got some muddy water in the mix. There's some bullshit ideas floating around. That,
So what?
Warm opinion.
So what?
That's part of the journey.
It's
If you're not starting the whole journey, then how can anyone learn from it?
Are you the water filter, Rob?
yeah, I guess I am. Seems like.
Well, take it from me, you aren't.
Oh well, no, you take it from me, mate. I am. I'll fight you on it. I'll fight you on it, Prescott. Don't worry about that, buddy.
Look. No,
The story is this, Prescott. Pay attention.
Wait, it's not going
Religion itself is corrupt. It is fair income, political corruption. Now that brings into the psyche a lot of bullshit that starts in early childhood. You can't say that that's not true. If you do, you're misinformed, mate. You need to wake up.
Uh-oh.
I'm fired up today, so watch out. You can fight me on it, mate, but you won't win the argument, because the fact of the matter is, those religions are bullshit.
I know. I've heard you.
No, it's not me, mate.
Isaiah
It's
being
you.
bullshit, and the Bible being bullshit, and the Gospels being bullshit. And then you're using the Gospel of Thomas. Now, I've read through the sayings of Thomas, and there's plenty of bullshit in there, but you're
No,
still
there's not,
quoting.
mate. No,
Yes.
you tell me. Look, let's have a debate, right? You tell me which one's bullshit, and I'll show you where you're wrong.
I don't think this is the Gospel of Thomas channel tonight, gents.
Yeah. No, we're trying to
Well,
talk.
anytime you're ready.
I'm talking about. We're talking about law of
I'll tell
attraction.
you what, Rob. I'll tell you what, Rob. Why
Yeah,
don't
mate.
you look up? Why don't you Google? Why don't you
Yeah.
Google the origins of the Two Wolves story,
Yeah.
and then come
Well-
in here and tell me the story of the Two Wolves as some kind of a Cherokee legend. It's bull-
No, I don't have to do that, mate, because I know it's accurate. It doesn't matter where it came from. It's accurate.
it's bullshit.
No, it's not. Well, you tell me why
It's not
bullshit.
even Indian. You
Yeah, no,
probably
forget
have read
that.
an Indian story in your
Forget
life.
that for a minute. Tell me why it's an incorrect assessment that we have these two wolves inside
Because
us.
it's not even a Cherokee story.
No, forget that part for a minute. Listen to the words, mate. This is the same problem all the scholars make. They don't bother assessing the philosophy. So tell me why it's an incorrect assessment to say that we don't have
Because
this.
you keep
reality
calling it a
frame.
Cherokee story, and it's not a Cherokee story. That makes
Well,
it a lie. You're the
You can
Empire.
try, you can
and you're
try that
telling lies
abstraction,
about
mate.
Two Wolves stories. That is not true.
You can try that abstraction or that.
It's
you
not
know,
an abstraction.
version. No. Wait a minute. What I'm saying to you is this, because
Get
most
up to
people I've
Type in
spoken
Google.
to that
Go
are
to your
honest.
Google search engine and type in Google origin
Yeah.
of the Two Wolves story, and
Yeah,
see
yeah,
where the origins of the Two Wolves story is.
Yeah. Well, most people I speak to, when I tell them that story, right?
I know
They-
they say, "Oh, it sounds just like Christianity with the sinful
No,
nature
they
and the
don't.
righteous
No,
nature."
because they're not
Yeah,
Christians.
that's where it
right?
comes
Not-
from.
Not all Christians.
Whoa!
What they say is this.
That's where it comes from, Rob.
Yeah. Huh?
Billy Graham
Sorry?
told the story, and some guy back in 1958 heard the story in a Christian church on a Cherokee. On a Cherokee reservation in a Christian church.
Yeah, mate, but again,
It's Christianized. It's Christianized. They used it to reach out to the Cherokee.
don't you?
It was a
Hey,
way of
hey,
taking
John,
Christianity to the Cherokee.
All right.
John,
That's
do
where
you
it comes from,
do
Rob.
you reckon you know yourself? John?
That's where it comes from, Rob.
No, John. Do
It's
you
not
reckon
a
you know
Well,
yourself?
wait. Before you get too far into this, just for the record, I Googled it, and I would like to point out that green is the 6th result, and Rob Beasley is the 8th result on Google.
Oh, dear. He's walking up there.
What did-
What did you do? What did you do, Cerberus?
I just typed in the Two Wolves into Google.
Yeah.
Oh, crikey.
What's happening with Google, because I think what they're doing now is they're changing the algorithms and with the posts that are going on Google Plus. Because the other day I told John this, J Dubs the other day, that I typed in the word God and he came up second under the definition of God. A post of his on the Google Plus. So what I think they're doing is
Pretty good. I'm moving on up.
they're cross-referencing, like, people with whatever subject you're doing.
Oh, so yeah, what you're saying, it's
Yeah, I'm sharing it right now if you want to see it.
yeah.
yeah.
But
Yeah,
yeah. But you did well. Listen, we're derailing from the original conversation here, unless nobody else has anything to say. I did want to give Prescott and James a chance to address what we were starting to talk about.
What were we talking about?
You guys want to talk about this a little bit off air, but I think a lot of it is getting played out. There is this claim, that claim that I think Prescott is saying the claim that you're making, the Cherokee claim, is false. It doesn't come from any kind of Cherokee story. This kind of story, and we've discussed this before, reminds me of, yes, in Christianity, where they talk about the sinful nature and the flesh nature, and we could talk about yin and yang. I mean, it's a concept that is not new or unique to the Cherokees. With that being said, if you guys want to battle that out off air, we could do that a little bit, but...
No, it's your room. You go ahead. I'm fine.
Okay, I'm sure you are.
Fuck it. I want the fight now. No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
You best to spend your time Googling there, Rob.
Hey, what's up?
So, oh man. So what we're both feeding the ego.
Might as well give up.
Right now, we're feeding the bad stuff.
That's the point. If you actually do any research on the Cherokee spirituality, you'll discover that the two wolves isn't even consistent with the Cherokee notion.
Doesn't matter, mate. You're still gonna lose.
It does matter.
Just accept it.
Wait, okay, we are moving on from this.
I guess
We wanted to move on from this. I just want to point out first
Move on.
that once you do some soul searching, you'll find out that the third wolf ate the other two.
No.
Oh God. Oh, mini me.
Moving right along.
Was taking a inhale of a cigarette. Oh, that's not good. Oh God. But anyway,
Did you have a cigarette, John? Do you smoke, John?
what's that? I'm sorry.
You smoke?
Yeah, unfortunately, I do smoke. Yeah.
Well, fucking stop it, you. That's bad.
Gnostic Jesus wants you to quit.
Yes.
Yes, he would actually. As far as I can tell, he probably wouldn't
No, you're
recommend you.
right.
You know, one thing I like about Gnostic Jesus is it does not it leaves absolutely no room for idolatry. The theory in and of itself leaves.
Yes.
I give that a plus.
There you
Yeah.
go.
This religion's
Yeah.
bullshit. You can count on him. At least he acknowledges God. He acknowledges that religion is imperfect and that it's probably better to acknowledge God without religion than with. I'll just give you that with
Because Gnostic Jesus is a deist.
go. Exactly.
No, actually, mate,
It's the new
he's
thing,
more
Wait.
aligned with Idol Smasher. He's
Oh,
he practices the
I have no
right way.
control here today.
Idol Smasher wins, mate. That's not-
I got no control here today, do I?
Quick, grab
Well,
control,
that
quick.
puts Gnostic Jesus right up there with Islam in my books. So right on.
No, mate, no. Gee, Islam's bad news, I tell you. I've
Well,
worked-
according to
Yeah.
the Jewish rabbis,
They
Islam
invented.
is a
They
Noahide
invented.
path.
Hey,
Yeah. It's yeah.
no, Islam.
You know,
Islam was
guys,
invented
I just
by
want
the
to let you know, I buy my tobacco from a Cherokee. And we like to sit and smoke. And I'm going to ask him. I'm not going to look at the web. And I'm going to ask him, my Cherokee tobacconist, if
Yes.
the Two Wolves story is one of Cherokee origin. Or if it's one that maybe they adopted.
That'd
Because,
be great.
yeah.
Well, also make sure, mate,
Great
you're
question.
asking whether he thinks
Do a
it's
YouTube
good
video.
story or he has an equivalent. How does he relate to the story? Because that more than anything else is the important question.
The three
It
things
doesn't have any foundation.
Rob's just going to keep talking. The three things you need is you need to know the tribe, community that it comes from, and who they attribute the story to in terms of the storytelling community.
No, mate, no, that's wrong.
A few miles
That's wrong.
from
Because
Well, in order for it to be a Cherokee story, it has to have those three things.
no, mate, no, not true. It's a story for
It
humans.
is true.
Are you a human?
I've researched this. I've actually Googled this. I actually
All right, but
Google.
answer this question, mate. Answer this
I
question.
didn't go to YouTube and
I
find
believe
out.
everything I read off of the
Do you
internet too,
recognise that
Prescott.
duality playing out in your life? It's just a simple question. Yes or no?
What's the question, Rob?
All right. Do you recognize in your life experience this duality playing out, like a bit of a selfish choice, selfish versus selfless choice, or not? Do you find yourself sometimes selfish?
What does that have to do with the two wolves?
Well, because that's
Brother
what the
John
story's about,
Idlesworth wants to say something about the topic. Can we get the topic going?
mate. Is that
Yeah,
your
this
experience?
sounds good. Yeah, listen, Rob, we're just gonna and the topic is kind of related. I mean,
Yeah.
it is kind of related. So,
All right.
all right.
Yep. Take over, mate.
You
Take
guys
over.
can do the fighting when we go off air in a little bit, all right? But
Oh,
I think James doesn't have much time here,
yes.
and so I want to give him a chance to address the topic. And we're talking about law of attraction. Can you create your own reality? Is positive affirmations and this kind of thing, The Secret, or say Napoleon Hill book, Think and Grow Rich, these kind of things. Does this create our reality? I mean, I'm sure it could work the other ways around. Idle Smash, have I'm sure you know about these things. Have you ever experienced it, tried these things out, or anything like that?
I think that there is great power in intention in the individual. I think intention. Yeah, I do believe that we create our reality, but I also think that we interact with it, which means that there is an other. There is something else that connects it all. I do not believe, like in Solipsism, where you're like, it's me, and I mean, I guess at a base level, yeah, it is me in the universe. How do I react in relation to my environment on a moral level? And with quantum physics, it does suggest that, yeah, we could have a much greater effect on reality. I mean, all these religions have been teaching about the essence of morality and the essence of the spirit come from the same place. So I think, yes, you can control it. I think we do at least greatly influence reality, at least that which was within our own consciousness at the time. I think we can. I've seen videos and I've seen papers on the law of attraction, and to be honest with you, sir, and everybody, it's like Gladiator. It took me 10 years. I know very little or nothing about it, or how that pertains. So I can't answer that aspect. But I do believe, yeah, that we directly affect our existence and our intention. If our intention is strong enough, that alone can change reality to your favor, if you will.
Yeah.
Okay. Prescott?
Yes.
You turn. Address the subject, not the wolves. The subject.
What is the subject again? Most people, most of Idle
You're still
Smasher
Googling, huh?
coming through like a Cylon, so I really couldn't make out what he was saying. I apologize. I figured if anyone else had a problem, they would have said something, so I assumed that everyone else heard what he said.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, in a nutshell, do you hear me?
I can hear you fine.
Oh, okay. Because I mean, Idle Smash. Yeah, I mean, James.
Testing 1, 2, alpha, beta, delta, gamma. Is this any better?
I got you clearly.
It was actually breaking up like it was a digital thing.
Okay.
So sorry about that.
Well, to put the mic down.
It might be on your end, because I don't know, because I don't know.
It is possible. Sometimes the connection here at my brother's isn't that great.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the topic we're talking about, law of attraction and The Secret and these kinds of ideas of creating your own reality. James believes, that intention does play, an intricate part in that you can, with strong enough intention, change your reality.
It can.
Mm.
It can bring great evil. It can bring great good. But I think there is a. I do think that in the end, it's when we realize that we, not the fleshy part, but we and the world around us are one. I think once you reach that level of consciousness, I think possibly you could bend reality to your will directly.
Yeah, and at the same time, I think it's unrealistic to think like that if you're gonna have this, positive attitude all the time, that nothing bad's going to happen.
Agreed.
Oh, that's just crazy talk.
That's the philosophy of my 2-year-old who's learning the limits of living. Not happy. Shouldn't be like this.
Well, the rain and the sun falls on us all. No, the sun shines on us all. The rain falls on us all, good or bad.
Right.
That's life.
What is the
I
law
guess
of
it's just a
attraction?
matter of attitude. That's how I see it. I mean, shit happens. It's either you're gonna be all the better for it. You're gonna learn from it. You're gonna get a lesson from it. Or some people get very bitter about it. They just feel, oh man, another load of shit just came on me. Oh man, and they get bitter and depressed and think, God's got it out for him or something like that. So yeah, you have that choice. I always say you got that power of choice of how you're gonna do something.
Well,
Yeah, that's that guilt trip sort of stuff that they, people will take on guilt and all manner of things and try and own them as, somehow being responsible for them. But yeah, that's a real trap for sure. Sorry, Preston, there you go.
no, not a problem. No, it just life. Life is a mix of chance, like if you want to call it good luck or bad luck, and it's also our reaction to that.
Yeah.
You see some kids grow up in a wreck of a family, and some kids turn around and make something of themselves, whereas the other kids choose not to. I mean, I know that within my own family, that my brother had a perception of growing up in our family that was completely the opposite of mine, and there's only 2 years difference between us. But his perception was completely different than mine, and it kind of surprised him after he was expressing his thoughts on the matter. I said, well, actually, my experience is the exact opposite of yours. So you can actually grow up in the same roof, under the same roof, and have the same parents, and still have a very different experience in that. And
yeah, but isn't that interpretive, Prescott? And if so, did you get to talk about how he interpreted things and why they were different to your interpretation?
No, I went to bed.
Man, you missed a bloody good opportunity. Go wake him up. Oh dear. Those are the moments, mate.
I tell you, when people say why Torah, why do you do it? If it wasn't real, if you found out today that God wasn't real, would you still? And I'd be like, yes, because it works. I always thought of myself as a Noahide, or I claimed a Noahide, or I knew I wasn't Christian, or whatever. But it wasn't until I actually began to work all that stuff into my life, make a conscious effort to make it a template for my actions.
Yeah.
That everything changed. Everything in my life changed. Everything. The way that people treated me, the way that I probably treated others, I don't know. The way I did my job, the way I approached my job, the way I approached my morning. Everything changed. It took work. I had to work at it. And as I stopped, claiming Noahide and actually becoming, I think, walking a better path, a center path.
Yeah, but what you're doing there is you're taking those ancient wisdoms and putting them into reality and into the experience. And so the meaning is found where? In the experience, not in your thinking brain. Correct?
Exactly.
See, so it's just
If
the
it
way it
can't work,
works.
if it can't work now, what good is it? You
Yeah,
know,
and I mean, you
stuff
can,
is all-
yeah, you can sort of rationalise goodness, but it means freaking nothing unless you're applying it, because it's the application that brings the meaning, right, Cerebrus?
Oh, you would throw me in there when I was on a different window.
I've thrown you in. I've thrown you to the wolves.
It's okay, the third wolf got my back.
I was thinking of this story of also, and again, I can get some good stuff out of the Bible, and the story of where you talk about the good tree and the bad tree, right? A good tree doesn't bear bad fruit, you know. Also the the reaping and the sowing, right? Sowing, good seed to get good plants and good fruit. So I can kind of relate all this to that as well.
Yeah, well, the texts have wisdom. These bloody empires didn't build their shitty houses on they pinched the wisdom, so the wisdom's there.
Yeah. Yeah. J Dubs, any thoughts, John, on this subject?
I'll just add that the Masons tend to preach anything that brings you understanding is a good thing.
I like that. I like that. Okay.
Yeah, those Masons, eh? They're a good lot,
build cool stuff.
huh?
Build cool stuff.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
you've ever been into a Masonic building, it's a work of flipping art, technical and aesthetically.
Hmm.
Brilliant work. I don't know much about what they do behind their closed doors and all that, but what I see, yeah, they build cool stuff.
Yeah, Masons founded on, well, again, their balance of at least below their hierarchy is, based on some pretty decent premises, but nonetheless, I still think that there's a bit of an issue there.
My dad was telling me something about.
Crucians. Sorry?
My dad was telling me something about. He's LDS, and Joseph Smith was a Mason, and he's got a thing for Masons, and he let me know that the whole temple in Utah, you can see pictures of this thing. The entire thing was built without one nail.
Well, it's certainly a house of knowledge, no doubt about that.
It's a brilliant work of architecture. Not one nail holds that entire thing together. It was all like
the Mormon temple?
The Mormon temple, yeah, the big one in Utah, the huge one.
Oh yeah, I remember you bringing this up, and I asked you, did it have anything to do because Jesus was nailed to a cross?
I know. I see, my dad didn't like to return calls. He's got a bunch of kids. He's old. We got some elders on bikes out here lately, so maybe I ought to pull over. Hey, elder, come here. Elders are the missionaries with the name tags and the nice clean shirts.
Yeah, and they're awesome because if they come by your house while you're doing work, you ask for help, they have to help you.
No kidding.
Yeah.
There you go, mate. Here's your big chance.
Of all the
Get that list out.
Jehovah's Witnesses will want to give you something. Here, take this out of my hand. Accept what I'm going to say to you. The Mormon shows up with a name tag, tells you who he is, his name, which is polite, and what he's selling. And you know for an instant, and it's out of the way. You don't have to take anything from him, I like that. I like that honesty.
And he'll mow your lawn.
He'll mow your... Oh, man, I got to bust out the weed eater when the elders are coming.
Oh, yeah, it was like 4 years ago now. We were painting my father's house, and they were walking down the road, and I knew this, and I asked them. And they had to help me for the rest of the day.
Did you talk about Jesus Christ?
Oh yeah, they talked about Jesus all day long.
You didn't care. You were getting your roof done.
Actually, I used it as an opportunity to try to convert one of them. But I mean, if they have to be around me, if they have to be close enough to convert me, I'm also close enough to convert them.
I've thought about that before. I've thought about sitting them down. Obviously, they're convicted. Obviously, they want to make the world a better place. You know, but I do. It's like, if you want to talk to me about this, I'll warn you. That's what the rabbis always told me. Every rabbi I've learned to is like, yeah, get your Chumash out. Greet him at the door with it. Bring him in, you know. And I'm like, yeah, but these are nice kids, you know, and they live very meager circumstances and put their heart and soul into this thing for 2 years of their life, living on nothing. I don't know if, but I've been tempted though. And the Baptists didn't leave me alone for a week. No, it wasn't a week. I guess it was like 3 weeks. But yeah, twice a week, I guess. Yeah, they come by and want to talk. And
Yeah, did you know they actually have to pay to do that too?
like the missionaries get paid.
No. They actually have to pay money.
Yep.
You mean they have
They
to?
pay the church money to go around and preach.
Really, the Baptists?
No, not the Baptists, the Mormons.
Oh, Mormons.
Wow, didn't know that. They had to pay to proselytize. Wow.
What's the rationale behind that, Sarah?
As far as I know, it has something to do with weeding out the people who aren't really into it. Like, if you get someone willing to pay a couple grand to go preach, you know that they're ready to go preach.
Desperate.
Gary, that is an awesome avatar, by the way.
Hey Gary, how you doing?
Hey, John. Thanks, James.
Did you catch any of our conversation where we started out talking about?
No, I actually couldn't find your live stream. It wasn't popping up.
I couldn't find that either.
Yeah, I think I messed up again and ran it private. I don't know what I did.
Oh.
It'll probably go up after we're done. But we're talking about like law of attraction, creating your own reality, and stuff like that. Any thoughts?
No, not sure. Let me hear the conversation for a while.
Well, we kind of drifted. We're talking about Mormons now, but after you came into the room, give you an opportunity.
You're talking about, did you say Mormons?
We drifted, yeah. We kind of derailed from a little bit from the conversation. I guess pretty much covered it, but I figured I'd give you a chance if you wanted to address anything, if you heard anything earlier.
No, I'm not sure about the attraction thing, but I could tell you some Mormon things.
Yeah, all right. Gary, I think me and you both fell asleep in that chat last night.
Oh, yeah. I tried to see what happened after I went to sleep, but I don't know.
The chat that Eve was in, and Herbert was there and stuff. I mean, I was sitting back just listening, and then I fell out, and I think it was about it was almost 5 o'clock in the morning. All of a sudden, this voice is, "Hello, is anyone there?" It was Eve yelling, "Anyone there?" And I woke up. I was like, "What the hell?" And I see it was like me and then Gary. I think you were still in the room. Maybe you're still sleeping. I'm like, "Okay, I gotta shut this off."
Hey, getting woke up by Eve is not a bad way to end a hangout.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember I woke up and I rolled over and I didn't have my headset on anymore. And I was like, man, I'm still in that room?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, J-Dubs left. Yeah.
Yeah, we're getting to the part where we all, including Reuven, by the way. I mean, it's not like we left Reuven in his hangout, but we all went over to Neff's hangout to more or less troll Neff.
Later, Prescott. Sorry to see you go, man. Good one of the battle
Good
here.
Come on, baby.
Have a good night's sleep, man. All right, we were talking about law of attraction. I guess we got a little bit of mixed opinions here, but I'd say it doesn't hurt to stay positive and to have positive affirmations and stuff like that. And
Is there a law of attraction, like an actual law?
I don't think there's a law of science of attraction, but I mean that's what they've called it, the law of attraction.
What is the law of attraction, really? I mean, is there a definition for it or anything like that? Guess I could look it up.
Okay, yeah, I guess we could look it up and get official, some kind of. I mean, pretty much, I think it's gonna say something like, like attracts unto like, whether it be good or bad.
Well,
Yeah, but
apparently there's a scientific and a spiritual version.
Yeah.
It'll relate to the love thy neighbour concept.
Mhm.
That's where it'll in the spiritual side of it, it'll relate to that, I would think.
Yeah, it's basically what we were saying. Being positive attracts positive things. Being negative affects negative things.
No, but it's more about you're respecting the other, and they acknowledge that, and then and encourage them to respect back, sort of thing.
I don't see that in this article.
But well,
pulled up
in
Wikipedia.
nature.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'll just quickly give the definition here. Wikipedia I just pulled up here, and they got a law of attraction, a concept in science. In the history of science, laws of attraction is a catchphrase used when discussing the perceived nature of bodies that have a tendency to attract, thus contradicting itself as a physics law, which serves to define specific properties and can be proven with experiment to be a constant. Historically, the concept of there being a known set of the laws of attraction evolved from the laws of affinity, which numbered up to 10 depending upon which chemist was sourced. And then, let's see here, law of attraction, a philosophical concept in New Thought. The law of attraction is the name given to the belief that like attracts like, and that by focusing on positive or negative thoughts, one can bring about positive or negative results. This belief is based upon the idea that people and their thoughts are both made from pure energy, and the belief that like energy attracts like energy. One example used by a proponent of the law of attraction is that if a person opened an envelope expecting to see a bill, then the law of attraction would confirm, quote-unquote, those thoughts and contain a bill when opened. A person who decided to instead expect a check might, under the same law, find a check instead of a bill. So,
I think they call that woo.
woo.
It sounds kind of superficial, but
Dang it. I thought when I went to the mailbox, I'd be thinking, check.
Yeah, and you get stories like that. People say, they're trying to attract money into their life, and they'll say, yeah, I had this unexpected check in the mail,
Yeah, it was made out from... Oh, sorry, go ahead, Gary.
Oh, last time I got an unexpected check in the mail, I wasn't expecting. It was just like, what is this? Oh, and I'm thinking, oh, it's another bill. And I opened it, it was a check. Couldn't believe it.
There you go. All right, so unless there's any further thoughts on that topic, I'll go off air, and then I don't know if you guys want to talk about Mormons or anything else. You can do that. Take it from there. All right.
All right.
Yeah, John, is there a consensus on? Because see, what you just said in what you read was that it was still about a duality, right? Attraction of good or positive, and an attraction of negative.
Well, that's what this new thought concept of law of attraction is that like attracts like. You know, whether it be
That's
good
right. But
whether it be
the
good.
like is positive or negative, right? So it's still drifting into the duality.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yin and yang.
there you go.
It's
Yeah, because
But
yin and yang wouldn't be like attracting like, right? It'd be the opposite, attracting the other one.
Yeah, this is where I would yeah. It's not.
I would
Go ahead.
the thing I think it's a great way to look at it, but on another level, I think that the concept works when one begins to not attract good, but propel it into the world. Is that a word I'm looking to get? That he will literally change the world. It wouldn't attract, nothing would attract to him. He would fundamentally change it. It seems like it divides one from the other.
No.
You're wrong.
Because
No.
because because, mate, it's not about creation of anything at all. It's about it's like your example, right? Your reality or your positive story begins in the experience, followed by the choice. So the choice was first, experience, right, was put into play, and then the results were delivered beyond that, right? So that's the order of business. So that sort of says that the things that deliver the goods are already in play. All you've done is chosen between alternatives. You've exercised your free will, right? You've taken a different path between two, and on that new path, which wasn't part of your previous life experience, some wonderful things happened, right? James?
Yeah, right. But what I was saying was attracting. I would prefer to see it as producing, rather than attracting something separate from you. You're actually producing something from yourself.
Yeah. Well, it's that sower story, right? So when your life changed, you were sowing seeds then, not by your words, but by your actions. People would have looked at you in a different light.
Sowing seeds, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. And then what would have come from that is that some of those seeds would have fallen on ground that wouldn't respond, and some fell on ground that, oh, look at James, he's a new dude, and that's inspiring to me. And then what happens then, this is the chain reaction event, that next person is encouraged to make a different choice of their own. Then they make the choice, and then they get the experience, and the experience then validates,
Like the concept of like paying it forward kind of deal.
Yeah, in a sense, mate. But this is where when the Gnostic Jesus put it down, he put it down as the sower of seeds, but he said some goes on the road and some goes on the rocks, and some of it will find its way to the good ground, and it'll. So that message is about don't be discouraged, because even though you get a new perspective, the world is still the world, and there's still immaturity, and there's all those other aspects. So don't get discouraged if your good deed isn't rewarded, but know that it will ultimately have an impact.
Yeah, when I was taught that parable, and when I read it in the Gospels, it always pertained to preaching the Word of God, not so much. That's how I saw it, not so much as your good deeds and stuff like that.
No, it's not. I'll read it if you want, straight out of the what Jesus said, and then I'll explain it bit for bit.
Do we want to?
No. Please no.
I was just expressing, how it's usually taught in the, that's how it's usually, taught in the, church and stuff.
But it's wrong.
I would have to look at it in, look at it in context in the Bible. I'm not talking about Gnostic Jesus, but in the Bible, in the context of that, you know, it always was taught that it was about preaching the word of God, and the seeds was the word of God, you know. So that's all I was saying. That's all I was saying. That's all.
What it is,
but I get the point though. It's about the individual producing something in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it is
Attraction
exactly.
is great. I mean, I can get the attraction, but it's
the producing parts, and the producing part's not quite right, mate. And I'll tell you why. It's because the potential for the goodness is in you, right? You didn't create that. That's already there. All you did was choose to follow. I suppose the term in Gnostic language, you can use whatever you like, but you chose to follow the inner Father.
I planted different seeds.
Sorry?
I planted different seeds, and the fruits of those seeds. That's the production I'm talking about.
Yeah, well, but just to be, you know, technical, right? Your choice.
Why technical?
Well, because it's accurate. The choice was the thing that you enacted. Everything else is already in place, right? And your choice led to, it gave you a different set of experiences, right? So that validated to you the quality of your choice.
It changed things that would seem to be out of my control. It changed the way events happened. When I needed something, it was there, kind of a thing. A lot of things changed, like in the world, not just in me. I saw a change in my environment. I don't know what that meant, but it happened in such a way, and there's so many, what my mom calls them, God winks, when so many revelations a day happen and keep happening, and things, like there was a time when I had deja vu for like 6 months, deja vu about once a day. I don't know if I'm just more in sync with the flow or the wave, you know, if I'm surfing the wave better than fighting it. I don't know, but my environment changed. The situation of my life changed, and I think it all started with a choice. I'm not knocking that, but that's why I think that, yeah, the law of attraction, there's something to it. I just think that it would be healthier to focus on what you produce in the world. That's all.
But no, I don't see that, because your choice led to the experience. It's the nature of humans, right? So
yeah, but it was, like I said, it was more than that.
I heard
the work that I got, the people that I met, the way I was treated by just the general public I could see because I come in contact. But when we really needed, we just got just things worked easier. You know, I don't know. I can't explain it. Maybe it's a perception. Maybe it's.
I'll explain it to you this way, right? Because I know exactly what you're talking about. Like there were days, like when I was sort of starting to try and, or getting near the end of the journey, if you like. There were days when I'd walk around the block, and I was really what I'd probably call in the zone. So I had a clear mind, and I was, you know, which is what I wanted, and I was just present in the moment. And the way that people related to me when I was in that space was different. You know, people actually just sort of out of the blue said hello, you know. So it's, yeah, sure, I get the strangers, you know, it's an unexpected thing, right?
Right.
And it's like there must be an aura about you, right? And yeah, it was quite real. So I acknowledge that. But I still feel quite strongly that the things are in place. It's just that you've changed stream and you're more connected to the other.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I can see that.
And from that, the people's relationship with you changes because they see it in you. So they regard you differently. See, this is because, now I'm going to say it again, that's because the two wolves are inside us all, right? So people recognize these qualities. They know what they are, and they treasure them. And when they see it in someone, they respond favorably. They know it. See, he says, know what's in front of your face. Now, what's in front of your face? It's not you because you're not running around with a mirror in your hand. But what is in front of our face is our fellow humans. All
I
right?
don't,
So we,
I don't think you would always. I don't think you're always going to be received favorably. Some people.
well,
some
that's
people
John.
will-
That's right. Yeah, that's
some
right.
people-
Because that's what he's saying. The sowers. That's that thing I was trying to tell you about the sowing of the seeds.
Mhm.
Jesus is
Right.
telling clearly, that some of your goodness is going to fall on, rough ground still, and it is not going to take seed. That's what that saying really does mean. You know.
All right. Yep.
Feed your good wolf and see. Anyway, listen, guys, it's been fun. I better get back to my homework or I'll get my ass kicked.
Have a good night, Rob, or day.
Thanks for dropping by.
See you, dude.
Later, man. Later, mate. You were talking about riding the wave. I thought of something else. Someone mentioned once about going with the flow, right? You're trying to ride that wave, and things will just go quite smoother instead of trying to fight against the wave or dam up the wave.
It's about putting it out there too, though. I mean, again, on a positive note, when I was working hard, independently, pressing palms, knocking on doors, beating the bush, always going out there, always smiling, always in a good mood because I was doing well and I like to be around people and I like to do my job. So, that rubs off. I didn't have to expect checks in the mail. I was going to get checks in the mail because I was working, I didn't sit around and hope for checks to show up and hope it wasn't bills. If I was spending a lot of money, I was going to get a lot of bills.
What's up, J-Dubs?
Welcome back. Yeah,
How you doing, James?
I think, yeah. I mean, it's great to have that positive affirmation, but you definitely have to have the action behind it. Yeah, you can't just be, sitting back home wishful thinking, something good's going to happen to you.
Exactly.
You got to take action. You have to connect with people, network, and all that other good stuff while you have this positive attitude. Yep.
Yeah, which is kind of the whole, in essence, doesn't that kind of deflate the whole woo part of the theory? I mean, if you're just positive and you're rubbing around with, positivity on other people, you're going to do well regardless if it's a woo-woo or not a woo-woo thing.
What's a woo-woo?
Woo is a term I use overall for stuff that, you can put in that pigeonhole of like homeopathy and, things that have magical, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the mystical, I guess. Yeah. Mhm.
It's intent. I think intention.
Intention is good. I agree with that.
It's a powerful thing. I heard there's a Buddhist guy. He was a monk, and I think he had really just, was fresh out of the monastery when he came to America. Eastern monk. He's Korean, and very well versed in scripture too. Don't get me wrong, but he spoke about the power of intention, and I took for granted that he was there, and his videos are no longer there, and I can't find them. But he was big on it, and if it's strong enough, it's like when you said riding a wave. If you know where the current is, and you know when to jump in or when to jump off or whatever, you can capture karma. You can tweak karma. You can have control of your environment, not just not necessarily just being a nice guy, but there was more to it.
Yeah, I don't know that you can. I don't really go in for karma or anything, but I believe that the what you bring in with intention is definitely going to influence the results.
You got to be careful though. You got to have more than just intention. You have to have some sort of, sound moral ground in what you're doing, because the road to hell is paved in good intentions. Did I kill it?
No, not at all.
Not at all. Have mine.
I think it was just a finished thought before you laid it out.
I understand why some people feel like silence. I mean, for some reason we get used to these chats. They have to be ongoing, talking and talking. But sometimes just having a moment of silence, for lack of a better term, because it sounds like you're, honoring someone who's dead. But that silence can play, silence can play an important part. It gives you that moment of contemplation. Think about what's being said or has been said. It's just like in music. Music, those silent spots are very important. You wouldn't just have one note or a bunch of notes just clanging away. You need that ebb and flow. That's why sometimes it's good to sit.
Okay, I think I might have found something good here. Hang on.
Related to this?
Man, I can't believe Prescott had the balls to confront Rob tonight.
Okay, but if we're gonna go into that subject, we'll go off air. Unless Idol Smasher, you want to add something you're looking up?
I can't find the title for the blog is here. The difference between intention and desire. And but I'm having a hard time actually getting to it, unfortunately. So I guess not at the moment.
I always got confused over the whole Buddhist thing about giving up all desire to find enlightenment, because I kept thinking, well, don't you then still desire to find enlightenment?
Well, it's not about. There are Four Noble Truths is what it's about. For the first is that from desire comes suffering. The second noble truth is, the first noble truth is life is suffering. First truth. Second, from desire comes suffering. The third truth is you can free yourself from desire. The fourth truth is that you can free another and others, the world, from desire. Once, according to Siddhartha, once you relinquish desire, you can relinquish suffering. That's all it means. Not really enlightenment.
Yeah, but you still you have to have the desire to release desire, don't you?
If you release your desire to heal, you will heal.
The soft death of not giving a fuck.
And in a way, I think that can go way. You can take that.
Do they use the word desire? I almost like I like the word grasping, in a sense. Like we were talking about happiness a little bit the other day. You're grasping for something, thinking that this is going to give you some kind of fulfillment, contentment. This grasping for more money, this grasping for a woman or whatever it may be. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. That makes a lot of sense. That's an example of desire. You want it so bad, you have to own it, and then when you own it, you no longer desire it. Therefore, yeah.
Yeah, I don't really take
Well,
in a lot with the Buddhists, but I love them. I absolutely love them. I had a house in Hacienda Heights when they built the largest Buddhist temple in North America, and my house, well, the temple was facing my house, and I was within a 5 mile range. So my property value went from 433,000 to $2.2 million.
Nice.
I mean,
So
it was,
the Buddhists attracted wealth to you.
Yes, and without any intent or attraction.
I don't know. It was always taught to me that trying to remove some sort of, or remove or deny some sort of basic component of your humanity is a dead end.
well, life is suffering. You will desire.
Oh yeah, we're not denying that. Well, I say we. I mean the teachings that I've been taught, but it's the Buddha tried to get rid of it, and essentially the Buddhist path to get rid of it leads to no motivation.
Well, you have responsibility.
Well, I mean, Buddha kind of avoided his responsibility. If
Why?
you know the story of Buddha.
He took on the responsibility of ending suffering. He chose that for himself.
Yeah, and he abandoned his wife and his kid to do it.
In a castle with an army guarding them.
I mean, sure, but I mean, it's still his kid's still his responsibility.
Didn't the followers of Jesus do that too? Abandon their families?
Yeah, because they were going to war. It was a war until he was confronted with it in the court, and he says, "Oh, my kingdom isn't here. It's a spiritual kingdom. It's the kingdom of heaven. That's my kingdom. It's not here. We weren't going to march war on you. Don't you think we would have won if we did it?" That's what the Romans say, anyway. You know, his blogs are gone. I really wish I could have found that. Thoughts free of craving, from ill will, from cruelty. This is called mundane right intention, which yields worldly fruits and brings good results. Here, he or she practices right intention in order to obtain benefits in this world. But when there is thinking and reasoning with the intention of following the path, these verbal operations of the mind are called right intention without taint. Right
What kind of benefits do you think on that last sentence?
Possibly food, maybe happiness.
I don't know.
What would benefit you? What benefit? Money? You know, a good business deal, a healthy child. The world's for your benefit. And then there's the right intention without, or the intention of renunciation, the intention of goodwill or loving kindness, and the intention of harmlessness. If we renounce, in other words, giving up an angry thought or desire, we do not encourage it, nor do we discourage it. We allow it to be. We can welcome it with loving kindness, with an open and accepting mind. Of course, we respond to it with harmlessness, so again, we do not oppose it nor force it in any way. The three I mentioned are similar in that they involve neither forcing to be nor forcing to not be. Such a response to thoughts and impulses cause them to dissolve. Sometimes they never again arise. As a temporary expedient, however, we might use strong will to overcome a defilement. And the three evil intentions are the intention to desire, intention due to ill will, and intention due to harmfulness. The right intention toward actions and thoughts. We can apply it before the thought or action comes into being. As the thought or action changes and after the action or thought has ended, sometimes, often, especially during early practice, it is only after the action is completed or the thought is manifest that we are mindful of what has happened. Practicing with actions is often easier, which would make sense with Torah, because Torah is all about the action first. Learn about why later. I'll give you a link to this thing I'm reading if you happen to be interested. Everyone seems to be quiet, so.
Is that a Buddhist? Is a Buddhist site?
Yeah, it's on intention. The Buddhists look at it. I think a great way. I would, maybe I should direct them directly to Torah, but with all that they've been under with religion, I would rather send a Christian eastward in order to kind of relinquish some of that baggage that doubters and disbelievers, if you will, pick up in their homes, in their communities, in their schools. There's some cruel mothers out there, quite often the most popular people in school. So when they come out of this and they, and they're angry, if they really, and they think that there's nothing to find, but if I ever get one interested, I always send them east. I send them east first, if anything. Like I think that there's a lot of things lost in the West that are preserved in the East, and I think there's a lot of things that are preserved in the East that are lost in the West.
Oh, I'm reading this. It seems like they're drawing, but maybe it's just the language or the translation, but they're drawing some sort of superficial difference between intention and desire. Because when I think desire, I think of motivation, and it seems like they're separating, like desire for doing something with no ill will, with ill will.
Right.
Maybe I just have a misunderstanding of Buddhism.
You can intend to release yourself from desire, but that would be a positive thing. But the desire to intend to do something is recursive. You get what I'm saying?
Repeat that one more time.
Okay. You can intend a relinquishment of desire. You can make that an intention. I intend to free myself from desire, say. But that which is a positive, that's the point that they're trying to teach you. That's the positive aspect, the intention. Desire wouldn't even have anything to do with it. The desire to intend to do something. I desire intention. It's recursive. It falls back on itself. It doesn't go anywhere. It makes no sense.
I desire to release myself from intention.
Okay, so wait.
No, that might work.
So wait.
Actually.
I just want to be a viewer of my own life and not actually a participant.
Okay, so when the Buddhists say desire, they're talking about like being procrastinating.
I think of like lust, maybe if I'm right, like greed and these kind of things, these negative things when they talk of desire.
Yeah, I think of when they say desire as something that is physical, like I desire this, I desire that, you know, versus intent, which is I'm going to make this happen kind of thing. I could be wrong on that.
It's exactly, that sounds reasonable to me.
Yeah. Yeah. It sounds like desire is more what they're talking about is yeah, the lust, the coveting.
Well, I think that, and I could be way off in this too, it boils down to that whole living in the moment, you know, instead of constantly chasing things to find happiness, you figure a way to, you know, your default position is happy. And then, you know, it's not going to be a new car or the next cigarette or the next beer that's going to make you happy or, you know, the next girl or whatever. It's just you are happy, and when you just appreciate those things as they come, but it's not like your life is empty without them.
Yes.
Oh no.
Be happy with God gave you. It's God gave is because even at your most destitute, you have everything you need.
Yeah, well, I think somebody summed that up once for me, and it has kind of a woo-woo statement, but then again, it really kind of wasn't in the same sense. You're a universe unto yourself, you know, and if you look at it in that sense, if you're bored when you're alone, then the issue starts right there, you know. And I think the Buddhists have that, you know, just sitting is an expression that they use for, you know, inward reflection and stuff. I'm not sure how they phrase it, but
The rabbis say the same thing. Every man is the universe in miniature.
oh, okay. Well, there you go. Cool. He may have taken that from a rabbi, as far as I know.
Yeah, Eastern thought to say as above is below.
Yeah, but I've found that that's been very helpful in my life as far as I'm never looking for something else to, you know, fulfill. Like I'm happy doing whatever I'm doing. I try to be happy doing whatever I'm doing when I'm not. You know, I try to find the value in it, or you know, whatnot, and it becomes. I don't want to use the word pride, but if you try to put perfection in even the menial things that you do, there's something in it. I don't know. I can't explain it, but there's something in it that just I don't know. It's a very completing experience, even if it's just stupid shit like weeding your yard.
I don't know. Like I like all the practices, and I like maybe ritualistic behavior that's the Buddhists have. I just think I need to go back in time and introduce Buddha to the third wolf.
You know, it's interesting. That's what the Torah teaches, something similar. You know, when God made, you know, existence, everything was good, and when He made man, it was very, very good. When we flip over to chapter 2 in Genesis, Adam was good, you know, or man was good, and then it was the knowledge of good and evil. It's like that was introduced later. That wasn't part of man's nature to have that duality, because we haven't learned, or we're learning right now how to deal with that duality. That's where Rob and I differ, I think, when he's like the two wolves, and he's like, feed the good wolf, and I said, well, feeding the good wolf is what brings balance, and he still got the, no, it keeps the other one from, you know, that feeding the good wolf is what brings balance, that it's a whole, it's a unit, they're put down good and evil, I guess is what I'm saying.
He just tries to oversimplify everything.
No, you're wrong there, mate. Let me tell you why you're wrong.
Yeah, not only is it an oversimplification, but you can't possibly be right.
Wait, I wanted to point out to him, like after it went off air, but he left, that even the yin yang symbol, in the good there's a little bad, and in the bad there's a little good.
That's right. Here it is for you again.
Like, I think the yin yang symbol is probably one of the best symbols ever made. I might be reading too much into it, but it seems like it covers both action.
Action and intention.
I think that's the thing about symbology is you kind of read into it what you want or what somebody describes, you know. Here I made this flag and this symbol means this, and you'll carry that with you from then on, you know, whenever you see that flag. But if you approach that flag and you look at it for a few minutes and you say, when I look at this flag I see this, that's what you'll take to it every time you see it. And just a classic example of that, the Nazi swastika as an example. I think it's also a Chinese good luck symbol, but you'll never look at it that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was always curious why he reverted it. Does anyone know why Hitler reverted it? Nah.
No.
No idea.
Are you saying it's the reverse of the Chinese good luck, the good luck symbol?
Yeah, it's flowing in the opposite direction.
Okay. Okay, I guess at this I'm gonna just stop the broadcast at this point because I guess it went almost like 2 hours here, so we're just opening up for the rest of the night. Whoever's watching on YouTube, thanks for listening, and we'll see you later. We're going off air now.